Hello, welcome back to another video. You're probably wondering why there isn't a video on Charmander and its evolutions. Well, in all honesty, I've been struggling creatively with Charmander, and it hasn't been turning out that great. Plus, it's not at the level where I'm happy showing it. I guess it's normal considering I'm still learning the scopes of Blender and sculpting, right? But enough of that. Let's get talking about Raikou. This was, I would say, my third attempt at creating Raikou, and as you can see, I'm still using the wireframe models to guide me with the dimensions and the shape. Hopefully, I'll be able to use just reference images to create these in the future. As you can see here, I've been creating UV spheres to create each body part and sculpt the basic shape, before joining them together and remeshing the model. The mane on its back is just a placeholder. I did a bit of experimenting, but you'll see that later on in the video. Once I had completed the main body, it was time to work on the face, sculpt out the eyes, and add the faceplate and muzzle. I did attempt at making them a few times, before settling on what you see when Raikou was finished. While we're on the topic of Raikou, I was kinda curious to find out the origin story of the legendary beasts, since I really only grew up on the first two generations of Pokemon, and my favorite Pokemon is Entei. So the history of Raikou and the other legendary beasts is that they were caught in a fire in a tower in Ecruteak City, and Ho-Oh used its power to restore the three Pokemon that vanished in the fire. The creation of the legendary beasts, in particular Raikou, is said to represent a lightning strike that ignited the fire that consumed the brass tower, while Entei is said to represent the actual fire, and Suicune represents the rain that put it out. Since I've started creating Pokemon in Blender, it's been interesting to see what Pokemon are based on, like if they're based on real life animals or real life mythology. In this case, it's said that Raikou is based off the Japanese mythology, the Raikou, which is a legendary creature that is associated with lightning and thunder. And then, I find out there's a whole other thing called Paradox Pokemon, which these legendary beasts may have connections to. I stopped reading after that. If you have anything to add that I missed about these legendary beasts, let me know in the comments below. Since the mane and fur on Raikou's head is a bit complex, I knew I was going to struggle to create swirls if I created a particle system without any sort of guidance. So I came up with the idea of creating curves and turning them into a mesh, as you can see here, to help out with that. Here, I'm working on the claws for Raikou. It didn't turn out exactly how I thought it would, and how it looked kinda stood out like a sore thumb. But I decided to leave it as it is, otherwise I would have spent way too long trying to perfect it. So here is where I finally get down to making the mane for Raikou. As I mentioned before, I created a curve and made the basic outline with the swirls at the end. Then I turned it into a mesh and played around with the hair particle system. Once that was done, it was time to add the armature, pose it, and then render it. But before going into Photoshop, I quickly scribbled a rough version of what I wanted the final image to look like, which is where this next segment starts, which I found is mostly shading. But I hope you'll enjoy the time lapse anyway. And here is the legendary Pokemon Raikou. I know I still have areas where I need to work on, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It kinda makes me want to remake Entei and Suicune now, and see how much I could improve on those. If you want me to remake those, let me know. I probably won't make a video on them, but I'll still be happy to share them with you. It'll be interesting to see a side-by-side comparison at least. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button, and be sure to be on the lookout for the next video. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!